Good evening, Russell. Good evening, Alicia. This is Tom Sydney Bushnell, aka Numbers, here from Psych.Club. You and I met, well, both of you, I met outside the news building, TalkSport, on Monday, the 24th of January, I believe. You just done the show with Jim and Simon Jordan. And then I spoke with you at the time and said I had a YouTube channel, a podcast, and you asked me to sort details with Alicia, which I did, Russell. And I spoke to Alicia on the phone last week, and she said to send an email. And she said she'd kind of get back to me by the end of the week, which was end of last week, but I haven't sent the email. But what I did think to do is to put together this short video for you. And then I'll hear from you shortly after that. So I was really impressed with your recent video that you did on Under the Skin, where you dropped quite a few clues, and it was all about the Ukrainian bio labs. So the reason I'm called Tom Numbers and my channel is Psych.Club, I have now 61,000 followers, which isn't bad for a mere mortal like me. But I do numbers, I do Gematria. And you would have seen from the intro, A is the first letter, so it equals 1. B is the second letter, equals 2. C, 3, etc. all the way through to Z, 26th letter. And I add up the numerical value of words, places, and codes. And you mentioned codes in that episode. You also pointed the finger at the establishment and the deep state and everything, the hypocrisy that's going on. You did mention Donald Trump a couple of times in a positive light, which I appreciated. But I have some codes, some decodes for you, Russell, that will give you a flavour of what I do and how I think I can be of value to the masses. You always say at the beginning of your episodes, you know, welcome to the 5.2 million awakening wonders. It's amazing. People are waking up, and through the numbers, as we kind of call it, it helps wake people up. And the technical name for it is called simple gematria. And I mention that because that will come up in a few moments. So let's do your numbers, Russell. All right, let's get to it. So Russell, RUSSELL, is actually comes to 106. And brand is 39, which is 10, which is angel. But you add those together, it comes to 145. 145 actually comes to the word numerology, interesting enough, which is kind of synonymous with simple gematria. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Maybe not exactly, but they're definitely interconnected and linked. Notice you've got the 33 tattoo on your arm. So you're into numbers, obviously. But under the skin, so this is really amazing, okay? So simple gematria is 148. Time traveler is 148. Donald J. Trump is 148. And let's have a look at under the skin. So under is 62, which is Nikola, as in Nikola Tesla. It's also Queen, and she might be going soon, from the way the press is saying things. That is 33, which is magic, which is Don. Skin is actually 53. Under the skin comes to 148, which comes to simple gematria, which comes to Donald J. Trump, which comes to time traveler, and it comes to your show, Under the Skin. So I thought I'd reach out and tell you that, to give you a taste of it. There's hundreds, there's thousands more of these sorts of codes that I've got that pertain to the Great Awakening, the awakening of humanity. That seems to be the key theme of your messages right now. So, and previously. So I wanted to share that with you. And I'll leave this with you as well. So you'll know that Donald Trump famously did a squiggle in front of the press many years ago, early in his presidency. And he got the press saying, "What's that, Mr. President?" And he said, "Oh, maybe it's the calm before the storm. And they're like, what storm, Mr. President? And he said, you'll find out. So you're going to like this. He said could be the calm before the storm, which comes to 293. 293 comes to Russell Brand 145, under the skin 148. So 145 plus 148 comes to could be the calm before the storm. Storm is 85. Storm is Matrix 85. Storm is 85 silver. 85 is also awakening. So we're going through the awakening. And you referenced that right at the beginning of your podcast. So my suggestion is however you want to do it, buddy. I have my channel. I'm also interviewed. I've done episodes with Roseanne Barr, who's awake and got hammered by the press, and she's a friend of Trump's. Matthew Letitia, great football legend. He's obviously a great footballer. He could do things on, I mean, you know, you've got your football podcast as well. I've done episodes with Matt. I've also done a little bit of Jurgen Klinsmann, you know, a great footballer in his time. But if you want to come on my show, or I come on one of your shows, whether it's Under the Skin, or talk about football, however you want to do it, but I'd love to introduce the concept of the numbers, because I believe they're really powerful and they're a way that can help wake people up, which is what you're doing. I feel like the time was right to get in touch. I called last week. Alicia asked me to send an email, and then I listened to your broadcast just a few days ago, and I thought, I did the numbers, and I was like, I should get in touch now and let you guys know what I can do. I think that people will like it. So it's up to you, Russell, how you want to do it. But I'd love to. We could do it either via Zoom, or we could do it in person. I can come to you, or you can come to me, or we can do it via Zoom. However you want to do it, it's up to you. But I think that the people will appreciate it. I think there will be a lot of value, and you'll see from the numbers I get on my viewership. I do get some videos. You know, I do get a lot of people watching. I think we've just done one just yesterday, and it's had, I don't know, about 65,000 views. I've got 60,000 on my channel. We've all gone through different bits of censorship. You've mentioned that. I've had that as well. And why would they bother with a guy that just talks numbers if he's not talking, if there's no elements of truth? Also, as well, I'm going to include in the email that I send to you, I do get orbs appearing in my videos. I don't know if there's any tonight, but particularly when I talk about Princess Diana, the Kennedys, Trump, Ivanka Trump. I've had orbs of light, and I'll send you a little kind of montage of those. And what they are, I personally believe that they're confirmations of what I'm talking about has authenticity and is true, and is guided. And they do appear on the screen. They usually whiz around me behind me. You can see it pick up on the back of the kitchen. So that's what it is. That's why I'm called numbers. You mentioned as well Q, QAnon. There's a little bit of a difference between Q and QAnon, and I'm sure you know that. But Q posts were pretty interesting beginning of lockdown for me personally to look into. I'll leave you with one little bit of info that I've picked up. Princess Diana. If you look at the time that she was buried, sorry, not buried, that's incorrect. If you look at the time of her funeral service in Westminster, the funeral service officially started at 9:08 in the morning, not 9 a.m., not 9:30, not 9:15, not even 9:20, or even 9:25. It started at 9:08 in the morning. that's recorded. You can look it up online. And why is that? For me, when I discovered the numbers really early lockdown, I had some other numerical experiences prior, but I didn't really understand what it was. No one told me A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. I kind of, I guess, you know, for want of a better word, a divine gift, a divine download, somehow it came to me. But I looked at that 908, 9 plus 8, 9 plus 8 comes to 17. 17 is the 17th letter of the alphabet, is Q. If you look at Diana's burial plot in Althorpe, it's a round kind of island with a path going through it. It looks like a squiggle, like a Q. If you look at John F. Kennedy, the Eternal Flame, I went to the cemetery in September of 2021, Arlington Cemetery, and there, you've probably seen this, Ross, you probably know this, but if you look at the aerial shot, it's a big Q. It's a big perfect circle with a path going through, and it's a Q. The word 17th in numbers comes to 137. It comes to President JFK. The word code comes to 27. You mentioned it in your episode that I've been referencing. Code comes to 27, which is A, first letter, Z or Z for the Americans, 26th letter, add them together, A plus 26 is 27. That comes to JFK, 27, A plus Z, 27, and the word code comes to 27. If you do the numbers on Diana Spencer, that comes to 109. 109, if you spell the word 17, it comes to 109. My channel on YouTube, which I chose for different reasons, consciously, I chose it in 2019, October 2019. So a few months before we hit March 2020, even the rumors of it, you know, at the end of 2019. And I didn't post a video until May of 2020. So I had a dormant account basically, but I chose that name. And until I discovered the numbers, and then a few months later, I decided to work out what the numerical code for my channel was Psych.Club, PSYCH.Club, and that comes to 109, which comes to the word 17. It comes to the two words Diana Spencer. It also comes to the word Zapruder, as in the Zapruder film, the JFK film. The piece of footage that you can see is it's the famous one that's been kind of blurred and spliced together. That comes to 109. You talk about this with spirituality and consciousness. If you do the numbers on consciousness, the word consciousness comes to 175. 175. I mean, you could do it this way. You could do 1 plus 75. It takes you to 76, which comes to a magic wand. President Trump speaks about a magic wand. You've got the thing of 1776, 1776 American independence. 17 is Q, the 17th letter. But if you just do consciousness, 175, it comes to Diana Frances Spencer. Another one is if you do, there's so many. I've got lots on. Okay, I'll leave you with one more. I don't know if you've looked at the Q posts. I'm sure you're aware of what they are. I don't really look at them now, but I did at the beginning of with 2020. And they don't really it's kind of stopped. They don't really put stuff out. People still refer to them. But there's a phrase in there called the 10 days of darkness. And that comes to a few things. It comes to 233. 233 comes to the 10 days of darkness. It comes to gold-backed digital currency, taking the power back from the globalists and the elites and the banks and the pharma and everything else, giving it back to the people. The revaluation, the word revaluation comes to 138, Donald Trump. and it, you know, the revaluation of wealth fairly to people, so we have a fair system. President Trump spoke about that. He was asked about currency markets early in his presidency, and he said, before the people, you know, realise, sooner than they think, the world will be on a level playing field, because it's the only way we can compete. Anyway, going back to 233. So 233, the 10 days of darkness is a Q post. It's in capital letters, the 10 days of darkness. What does that mean? One numerical value for it is the gold-backed digital currency. Another value for it is follow the white rabbit. So you've got Alice, you know, the Looking Glass, time travel, etc. Follow the white rabbit. It's mentioned in the Matrix. Neo, the one, DJT, same initials, 34, Neo. Keanu Reeves, you've met him on shows. I've met him briefly actually before. They knock on he gets the thing, follow the white rabbit. This is the first Matrix film. And he gets a knock at the door. People he's done a program for, they come and get it, and they say, come to the party with us. He said, no. And then he sees the girl from Home and Away. Can't remember her name, but the cute girl from Home and Away. She's got the white rabbit tattooed on her shoulder. And he goes, okay, I'll come. Anyway, so follow the white rabbit is 233. 233 is also John Fitzgerald Kennedy. There's so many things that are tied into this, Russell, and I'm sure you know a lot more than you can say on your shows, but you're doing a great job of waking people up with humour and pointing out the obvious, and it seems like there's maybe less censorship now recently, so we can speak more freely. But in terms of the code, I personally felt that your message, whether you consciously knew it or not, was speaking on a universal level to a lot of people, and it was to me in terms of the numbers. So that's why I've done this little video for you. But yeah, you spoke about code, you talked about QAnon, you mentioned Trump a couple of times. And there's a whole bunch of stuff with Ukraine. So you might have seen this as well, but you remember when President Trump would say, China. So President Trump is the king of double speak, triple speak sometimes, maybe more. But he was going on about China, and this came to my attention just in the last few days. There's and you were talking about the biolabs. So I'm going to pull this picture up, and I hope you can see it. But I didn't know this until yesterday. But in Ukraine, there's a place called Spiel, China. I'm not sure how I'm saying it, if I'm saying it correctly. Spiel, China, or Spiel, China. But the point is, it's spelled, the China part is spelled C-H-Y-N-A. There you go, buddy. There it is. You can see it on the map, but there it is. Spiel, China. So that's it. So President Trump, I believe, was probably telling people all along, because we've seen so many things of his come true. He was saying China, it came from China. And there's been reports just in the last day or two about China saying, that connected to Ukraine with biolabs. And you've been obviously talking very freely about the biolabs in Ukraine. And there's probably going to be some in Taiwan and other places as well. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you, point that out. But yeah, all my details are below. But let's see if we can do a show, buddy, or a few. I mean, I'm happy to kind of go with whatever format you want to do it. But the numbers are powerful. I didn't invent this. I've just been blessed to discover it. And simple gematria is a real thing. It exists. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, Z or Z is 26. Simple gematria comes to, or simple gematria is, simple is 74, gematria is 74. Interestingly enough, the word Jesus is 74. The word Messiah is 74. The word Muhammad is 74. The word DeLorean, the time machine in Back to the Future with Doc Brown, is 74. Interesting enough, Emmett Brown is 148, which is simple gematria, which is Donald J. Trump, which is time traveler. And Trump is 88. And if you recall, the speed that the DeLorean, 74, gematria 74, Jesus 74, Tarot 74. There's a lot of great 74s that connect this kind of spiritual realm when it's done with good intentions. It travels at 88 miles per hour. 88 miles per hour. 88 is Trump. Yeah, it's in there. Back to the Future is Donald J. Trump Jr., Donald J. Trump Jr., 176. But I've interrupted myself. I don't know why I started talking about Back to the Future. But, oh yeah, Gematria. So Gematria is 74. Simple is 74, Gematria is 74. Where we live or are based or near, you know, well, you're not in London, but, you know, you come here. 74 is London. England's 57, it's Tesla, Nikola Tesla. So there's a lot of stuff, Anyway, so yeah, I could go on and on, but there's loads of these, and done with good intentions and pure intent, then the truth can flow, which you know. So anyway, I wanted to reach out and let's see if we can do a show. Let's do a Zoom or a live podcast together, or whatever you think is best. And I look forward to hearing from you. Keep up the good work. And like you say, together we can beat this enemy that we're all facing. Some of us have been doing it for a while, you included. So thanks, buddy. And I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you, Alicia, for kind of connecting all of this together. Appreciate it from both of you. All right. God bless. Take care. Bye.